The absolutely kick-ass Lego Batman movie storms onto home video June 13th, 2017. Click the affiliate link below for more information. Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel, and Star Trek Discovery is a new show coming sometime this year, I believe. It's supposed to already have been out back in January. It's gone through multiple delays, multiple showrunners, and I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the first teaser for this at the 50th anniversary for Star Trek panel at Comic-Con last summer, I was underwhelmed. I thought the design of the USS Discovery was just kind of and I don't know. I mean, the trailer was okay. It wasn't anything to write home about. You could tell where they were clearly influenced by other and better aspects of sci-fi in the modern times. I mean, going as far as even like ripping off Interstellar shots. But a lot of people have been very upset at the trailer for this, basically trying to liken it to SJW propaganda. And the YouTube page is whatever trailers it's on has been getting bombarded with dislikes and a lot of comments about forced diversity and God, the dreaded white genocide. That's my favorite buzz term from 2017. Because what? Like, seriously, what? It's a popularized term in some circles. It is retarded to use with any semblance of seriousness, and I don't want to think that there are people out there that do use it legitimately. I mean, there's one I can think of at the top of my head who did that back in February, which was Baked Alaska, calling out Dear White People as being white genocide, even though he knew nothing about it. And that also leads me to kind of look at the people that are upset at this trailer, right? You have Michelle Yeoh as the captain, Sonequa Martin Green, I think, as the number 2, both women, one Asian, one black. Doug Jones is an alien. There's, like, not a lot of white characters in the show, and people are upset at that for some fucking reason. And that, I think, there's a cultural problem inside of that, right? There's a cultural problem inside this particular fight back against Star Trek by claiming, it's forced diversity, it's white genocide, all of these things. I want to actually say that in the same thing I said when it comes to the whole Dear White People nonsense, people who are upset about this, I don't think understand the core principles of Star Trek. I don't think they've watched the show from the beginning. I don't think they've looked at the philosophies that Gene Roddenberry was putting forth with Star Trek. I don't think they got necessarily what the concept of it was. The idea in the future that Earth has kind of surpassed racism, become one species, and then moved out to the heavens, and then dealing with the different races and species from out there, that was kind of where the racism went, where the distrust went. But like, things here were pretty good, and we also got rid of religion, which was fantastic. So it's like there's a very much kind of like a human species. Here we've solved a lot of our problems. And then out there, we're dealing with other problems that are kind of a way of tackling the social issues of the 60s, but using it like dealing with other races that way. Very similar to how, with the X-Men, it had a lot to do with like Professor X. If you want to argue the civil rights movement was more like Martin Luther King Jr. and Magneto was more like Malcolm X. You could also argue that they were like a response to like the Holocaust and everything else. There's a lot of socio-political aspects and commentaries on society that go into these types of fictions, especially stuff that came out from that time. And we do see it now, but now it's not as subtle as it used to be. Now it's way more forced. And when that happens, then you get this kind of response. Or when it's perceived to have happened, you get this kind of response. CBS at this point has done like nothing to push forward this kind of agenda. So this means that like they're not putting out statements blaming people for the negative comments, saying, oh, the people out there claiming white genocide, things like that. Like, they're not doing what Sony did with Ghostbusters. They're not doing what Paul Feig did with Ghostbusters or the cast did with Ghostbusters. But we are seeing a bit of a pushback from the media, which is looking at what they're saying, and they're highlighting some of like the more, you could say, over the top comments and trying to call that out. And it's not as bad as Ghostbusters. And I think they might have learned their lesson, because with Ghostbusters, they said anyone who doesn't like this clearly is a misogynist. That's the narrative. This is saying that there are people out there that are claiming Star Trek is promoting white genocide, which it's not. which it's really, really not. I just, wow. I'm more of a Star Wars dude than I'm a Star Trek guy, but I still love me some Star Trek. And I look at a story like this and I think to myself, how come it's gotten this bad? And this is something I've been feeling for a while, is that the anti-SJW side of things, of which I am very vocal in that camp, and I'm not disregarding myself from that at all. They have become so crazed in their own right that anything that they don't like is SJW, even if it has nothing to do with it. And that has been something I've been noticing very frequently on YouTube. There's an article Vice wrote a while back called "Why the Right is Dominating YouTube," and it's a very astute argument about how right-leaning channels have become very prominent, very vocal, very popular, and a lot of it has to do with taking on of the left and progressive ideals, but they target the more extreme side of things, which there's nothing wrong with that. Criticize however you want, but we've seen a lot of, I don't want to use the term toxic because I don't like that word, but it does feel like that from time to time. It feels like the people that watch these videos and that watch people like me and others that comment on the lunacy of the liberal side of things then get so worked up that anything that might resemble that, even if it doesn't, or even if there's no reason to believe it, then becomes a target. And I said the same thing when it came to Baked Alaska and Dear White People, is that there was nothing in there that promoted white genocide. There was a 30-second teaser trailer is all he had to go off of, and that was the claim he made, the hyperbolic claim he made. But because of his size and the prominence of his position on Twitter and his audience, that tended to go that way. Now, I'm not trying to criticize people here for expressing their opinion. I'm just wondering how much of it is hyperbolic for the sake of being hyperbolic, and how much of it is people actually believing this stuff. Because the biggest issue that I face as a content creator on this website, as a commentator on these issues, is the lack of discussion. It's just the shit flinging, the finger pointing, the insults from across the divide, and nothing ever gets done. What I would suggest in this particular case is people that feel that Star Trek Discovery is social justice propaganda, give it a shot. It might not be. Brian Fuller is no longer involved in the show. Okay, if you want to criticize it for how it makes the Klingons look, by all means, they look like ass. They look like ass. Even the fucking graphics don't look as good as some things you see on TV. So I don't even know what to think about this thing. But I still want to give it a shot to see. Because I feel that in this day and age, you absolutely positively have to give these things a shot to see them through. Because we don't know the context of it yet. And until we know the context, we cannot make that fully informed opinion. And all I'm asking for is not that you love it, but just that you go in with it as open as a mind as humanly possible to see whether or not it is or it isn't. And that's what I want from everybody. Everybody is to do that. And it's one of the hardest things we can do. Because as we navigate the murky waters on the internet when it comes to finding out news and information and garnering opinions, engaging the importance of those opinions, we do, and I do this too, we seek out confirmation bias. Those who might think like us and be like us, and then their reaction does become our reaction. And sometimes it's really hard to fight against that. And so don't look at these articles that are calling out, people leaving those comments, it's like, oh, the fucking white fragility or whatever. Don't listen to those guys, but go in there and try to have as open of a mind as you can possibly have. Because maybe, just maybe, it won't be as bad as some people are making it to be. And that's all I ask of anybody. So no, I don't think that this is SJW propaganda. That's my initial take on it. It does look like ass, but that's just CBS not giving it the budget it deserves. But I'm willing to give it a shot with an open mind. I even went into Ghostbusters knowing everything I know about the movie with an open mind, hoping to enjoy it. I did not. Oh boy, did I not enjoy that movie. But I still went in hoping to enjoy it. Hoping that maybe everything that happened with the creators and the actors, I could separate that from entertainment, have a good time. No, it didn't happen. And that might happen with this as well, but I'm still going to give it the same benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to try. And that's all I ask from anybody out there. But what do you guys think about this? Is this SJW propaganda? Is it just people overreacting? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a great day. Peace out.